Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and welcome as we continue going down the list of all the functions in the Lodash library. Now we're going to go over the math functions, and most of these look pretty straightforward. Basically, functions you can now find in the math object in JavaScript. So basically here we have add. Adds two numbers, pretty straightforward. You could just use the plus operator, but here you have a function that adds two numbers. Okay, so I don't think we really need to test that out. Seal, again, this is like math.seal. It's going to round up. Okay, so here's an example. Again, since this is just such a typical thing that you see using the math object in JavaScript, I'm not going to do an example of it. I'm looking for some of the more interesting functions inside Lodash, the things that, I haven't been able to do before without having to do some sort of complex custom function on my own. Divide two numbers. Okay, so we get a floor, you round down. Max, I'm saying this computes the maximum value of the array. Okay, so it's just going to return you the maximum value. That's always fun. I forget, does that actually exist in JavaScript? I'm not sure, so let's see here. I forget if that one is a thing. Okay, my r dot max. I don't think it is, but yep. Okay, but this should work. Dot max. Pass in my r. It should return me the 7. 7. Good. Okay, so that just returns you the largest value in the array. That's fun. Like max except so this is another one. So again, always with the max buys and max width, they take the iterator. So I'm assuming this takes a function and then compares the values of the function that the function returns. So in this case, function return o.n, and then compares those to see which one's the largest. Okay, so this would be like if I did on my object, or we did the obj array. So this would be max buy. We're going to use my object array, and I want to see who has the highest age. So then I will just do value. So that's each object in that array. So and again, if you haven't been following this whole video series, it's this array here with like 3 people in it. So we want to follow the one which has the, and we're going to return the value dot age. Okay, so then it'll compare the ages and then return the one with the highest age, which should be, well, Bob, who's 50, the Bob that's 50. Yep. Cool. That's actually pretty useful. Cool. Mean, the average, computes the mean value of an array. Okay, so that means we just, yeah, I can see how that function could be fairly straightforward to program. Because basically just you would add up all the values using like reduce or something, and then just divide that by the length of the array, and then that would be the mean. So let's see here, save. Okay, and then that's what you get. Okay, so that's the mean by, once again it's going to have the function, and then it'll get you the mean of the values that are returned by that function. Min, it's going to be the same thing as max, except min, the lowest number. So then it's probably going to be a min by, of course. Multiply, it's going to multiply 2 numbers. That's pretty straightforward. Round, computes a number rounded to precision, so it's going to round up or down. Subtract, so it's going to subtract 2 numbers. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Actually, this one computes the sum of the array values. That's nice because that way you don't have to use reduce to do it. Okie dokie. Sum array. We already did that. So again, it adds up the whole array. Sum by is going to do the same thing, but it's going to sum the result of the iterative function. So let's say you wanted to add up all the squares of an array. You would just have a function that returns the square of the value, and then would add up all those values. Those are actually pretty useful. Sum by clamp. Okay, so now we're moving on to number methods. Okay, so that's all the math methods. So those were pretty straightforward. Most of them exist in JavaScript, or you have, or can be done pretty straightforward. But there was some pretty neat ones in there, especially particularly sum, min by, max by. Those were all pretty cool. Clamps a number within an inclusive lower and upper bounds. Dot clamp number, lower upper bounds. Okay, I think I get this. So this could be fun. Let's try this out. Clamp. So my understanding is, let's say I wanted to generate a random number. So we'll say here math dot random times 100, and then let's wrap that in a math dot floor. Okay, so that's the number. We're going to generate a random number between 1 and 100. And what we're going to do with that number is we're going to clamp it between lower and upper. Does the lower number have to be in an array? Well, let's find out. Okay, and we'll say we want it between 50 and 75. So basically, my impression is this will generate a random number. If it generates 80, it'll be turned into 75. If it generates 30, it'll be pushed back up to 50. If it's somewhere in the middle, it'll stay somewhere in the middle. So let's run that function. 50, 58. And yep, see, you never get a number outside of that range. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And I'm sure they're probably going to be like, yep, there's a random number coming up. Okay. So that's clamp. And next is in range. Checks if n is between start and up to, but not including end. If this is with this return a boolean, yeah. So this just checks is the number between that range, but not including the end. If it is not specified, it is set to start with the start. Okay. So basically, if I wanted to wrap this up, okay, in range, okay, what I can then do, so this is the number, so then I'll say the range is between 60 and 66, because I want it to be 60 to 65, but it doesn't include the higher number, so it's like up to but not including. So if I do that, what it's going to do is going to return me a true or false on whether it's in that number. In range is not defined. Did I spell that wrong? In range. Oh, I need a dot. Save. False. 60, 66. So it's returning me all three numbers. Let's see here. Is that supposed to do that? Returns true if number is in the range, else false. Let me examine the syntax real quick. In range, start 3 between 2 and 4, true. Okay. Let's see if we ever get true. Theoretically, it should be possible. Okay, we just may never be getting a number in that particular spot. So let me widen the range, because we know the number is going to have to be between 50 and 75 every time because of the clamp. So then this should return true every time. Got it. So there is something wrong with how we're doing this. Okay, so this clamps the number within a range, which it does, and that should be the number. Let's take a look at the number. The start of the range, 50, 75. Oh, I think I see. Well, no, that's where it's clamping. So then this, yeah, let me just make sure that all my, there's an extra parenthesis somewhere. Because this is matching up with that. Oh, I see. This should go here. 50, 75. So it's not that I have a extra parentheses, I just had that placed in the wrong place. So save. Now if I run this, it should always return true. Okay, or complain. So let's see here. This matches up with that. 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 Oh, it says comma here. No need for that. Missing parentheses after argument list. Because that matches up with that. So, I mean, this is all... This is all the first argument. Oh, I see it. I need a comma here. Save. There we go. True. And see, now it should be true every time because the number should be in the range. Now let's put it in a smaller range. It's between 60 and 75. So if it's below 60, I should get a false. I should occasionally get a true. Huh. So basically, I'm leaning to assume that it must be generating a number between 50. Ah, there we go. Wait, now we have some trues. Okay, so it is possible. Okay. We just generated a lot of numbers between 50 and 60. Okay. So that's neat. So again, in range checks if the number's within the range. Clamp helps you generate a number within a range. And then we can even spice this up a little bit more by in here replacing this with random, because there's now a random function. So right here, which I'm sure is a lot easier than using math.random. Okay, random 05. Okay, so basically it just goes like this, dot random, and it's going to be between 0 and 100. Save. Oh, unexpected token. So let's see here. Clamp. Oh, I see. This should be in here now, because that's where we close clamp. Which this we don't need anymore. So this should match up with that, which it does. Okay, good. It's still complaining. So let's see here. In range takes the first argument, which is clamp. No, but I'm still missing the comma here. Save. There we go. Now I should be able to get true. See, and again, it just generates random numbers. That's within that range, and then we test it again with in range. So it works. Amazing. So that's pretty cool. In the next video, we'll start hitting up these object functions. So I'll see you guys there.